Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome. I wanted to come online today because I am picking up on some quite challenging energies, feelings, all kind of stuff actually swirling around. And to be honest, I'm having a little bit of a hard time to sort through it all myself. So usually it helps when I record a video and just like have the intention to bring through whatever is most beneficial. So here I am. I can say already that this whole energy has to do with the topic of self-expression, being able to freely express yourself, whatever that means, and all the fear, all the baggage that comes with the challenge of free self-expression. And I know that we've been working on those topics collectively because I can tell I have some throat-related symptoms. I know I've been working on my self-expression on different channels of self-expression and rediscovering some beautiful ways to express myself in a even more authentic, even more free and honest way, especially in I've been picking up some old okay, that was huge. I'm sorry. There's some kind of block here or resistance. Let's call it resistance. I had trouble saying what I was doing. That's interesting. So I've been doing art again, and that's something I loved to do when I was younger. And I've been struggling with it for the last 16 years, 17 years, 20 years soon. No, not that long, but well, you get the picture. It's been a long time. So, wow, okay, now I can tell I'm being pulled into a trance state. Wow, okay. Before I came on here and started rambling, I've been calling in some help because I could tell that this is, like I said, it's a deep-rooted topic in self-expression, probably what we might call the witch wound. And I wasn't too sure because there's a lot in there and a lot to unpack, and I wasn't quite sure what to talk about. So I called in some help and I asked, actually it's like a collective's guide, a guide's collective. You see, I'm already starting to mess up my language and words, and so I can tell this is going to be deep. Stick with me, I'm sorry when I'm struggling talking. So I've been calling in a guides collective that I like to work with, which is what you could call the dark goddesses. And I've almost choked on that word. Wow. This is... there's a lot in there. So, I like to work with dark goddesses. They help me through this topic of the witch wound and self-expression, all of that. They help me a great deal with that. And while I'm talking, and I look out my window, and while I was talking, crows started to gather on the rooftop on the opposite side of the street. So Yeah, there's some dark goddess energy going on here. I didn't feel like calling in a specific thread, and this is also how they present themselves to me as there you go, one, as a unity. Mostly because okay, so they're saying if you're feeling called to work with them, I don't want to limit it here, but it's easier to digest those kinds of energies if you work with specific goddesses. I've been working with them a lot, so I can I can deal with them as a united front because it is a lot. But I also work very often with them, like in more specific threads, depending on what the issue is I'm dealing with right now. And like I said, there's a lot in here. There are many different threads of energy. And so this is why they're coming in as a whole, because it's not just one topic. And this message is supposed to be collective. So we'll see, maybe some messages will come out over the course of time with more specific threads of energy. But right now it's like this oneness of the dark goddesses. If you feel called to work with them, look out for signs, they're saying. Like, and maybe suddenly, like, look out for the names, look out for, like I said, signs that are starting to pop up in your reality. They are trying to get through. And I can tell you, like, when a dark goddess tries to get through to you, they can be pretty... At some point, it's hard to ignore them. When you know the signs, like, you cannot ignore them anymore. Is there time for an anecdote? Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so I had this... I've been working with, may I say who you are? Yeah, okay. So I've been working with the Morrigan for some time, and she was actually calling me on a trip. She was calling me to go to Ireland for several reasons. I mean, she is an Irish goddess, so not that surprising. But so I knew that she wanted me to go, and I told her that she should lead me through the process with, like, when to go, like the booking, all of that stuff. And I didn't hear anything for months. And then suddenly at one point she was like, okay, now it's time. And it pretty much came out of the blue. And I was sitting in the park and hanging out in the park, just enjoying life, having a time out. And she wanted me to book my flight. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to do it when I'm home. And then a crow landed in the tree above me and started, how do you say crowing? Like, making noise, a lot of noise. And I was like, okay, I hear you. I'm just, can I do it when I'm going home? But the crow just didn't stop. And at some point I took out my phone and looked for flights, and I booked a flight just on the spot. And usually I'm a person who doesn't, like, I'm a huge overthinker and overplanner. Used to be, I'm getting better. But so I just booked a flight on the spot. And when I did that, the crow stopped and flew away. and the Morrigan was satisfied, and that was fine. So what I'm saying by that is like they are they can be quite persistent. You just have to learn to look out for signs. Okay, so that was kind of important for somebody. I feel like there's like this question of, okay, but how do I work with them? How do I start? And if you just want to, or if you feel like, to be honest, usually they come to you. It's like if you resonate with this video, if you find this video, it's not a coincidence. They're calling you. That's it. If you feel drawn to something like that, they're calling you. Okay, I had this when I started working with them. I didn't expect this to be a video about my work with dark goddesses, but okay, fine. I'm going with it. When I started working with them, I had this feeling of reverence, of who am I to work with those mighty goddesses? Why would they want to work with me? And they're saying, when, again, like they come to you, like when they single you out and say like, I want to work with you, trust that. Meaning when signs are showing up, and that can be crows, ravens, owls, black cats, anything dark magic related, they're saying, but yeah, like more in this like witchy area. I hear something about working with plants, but like in a medicinal way with herbs and stuff, like this herb witch kind of way. Earth witch, I'm hearing earth witch. Yeah, maybe like you feel like a sudden interest in magic, and like the topic of magic. It doesn't mean like that you have to practice magic. It could just be like a fascination. It could be reading into history about witches. It could be reading fantasy novels with witchcraft in there. Yeah, the animal kingdom is usually pretty loud when it comes to the dark goddesses. They like to work with animals, like signs. Spider, I hear. Yeah, that too. And for some reason, pumpkins. Okay. Yeah. So that's it. So do you have some kind of message, or was that the purpose? Oh no, we're just getting started, they're saying. Okay. So let's see. What do they have for us? I think I need some oracle cards here to give me some structure. Like I said, they can be a lot. Sorry, it's taking some time. Okay, they said, don't apologize. Don't apologize for taking up space. I hear you. I hear you. Okay. Okay, we're starting with this one. Sacred Soul Sister. This one is coming out a lot when I'm channeling dark goddesses, or when I'm working with them. Oh, okay, that's interesting, because I said I channeled them and then I corrected myself and said work with them, because yeah, they want us to go about this kind of work in a different way. They were going back to this feeling of, am I even worthy to work with them? Who am I to work with them? And they're saying it's a co-creation. It's a sisterhood. And it doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you're a male, you can be in this brother and sisterhood, and you have feminine aspects inside yourself as well, and those feminine aspects, they can be in a sisterhood with the dark goddesses. In fact, we all have them inside of us. It's nothing that's outside of us. And they want us to come out of this idea and this energy of, am I even allowed to work with a certain deity, for example? Who am I to think that I have certain powers or certain gifts or abilities? Who am I to express them out into the world? And I mean, the dark goddesses, for me, in my journey, they were all about self-empowerment. And they don't, like you saw, like they don't allow me to play small. Like, they're like, don't apologize. Don't say you're channeling us. You are a co-creative force here. You're someone who's working with us, not for us. And yeah, I called them in. I was like, okay, I'm not quite sure what to do today to talk about. I felt like there's a need to record something, but I'm not quite sure. So I asked them for help, and they came in pretty strong. So it's a co-creation. It's a sisterhood. And this is something why so many people get triggered when you work with dark goddesses, especially in the spiritual community. And oh, that's interesting, because I just recorded a video a few days ago. It's the last one on my channel, that where I talked about spiritual bypassing and like this, what I called feel good or wellness spirituality, where people are mostly focusing on the light. And there is like this huge feeling of the divine is something that is above me. It's a higher state. We are always talking about those higher states. But there's always this idea about a hierarchy in there. And this is, of course, rooted in our society. It's rooted in religion, especially monotheistic religions. Not just, I mean, there's like in pretty much all religions that we practiced, especially, no, forget it. So in many religions, there is like this idea of hierarchy. There are other forms of spiritual practices, like, for example, shamanism, where you are more in a co-creative space with spirit. And this is where they want us to look, and where they want us to grow into. to own our own, like our sovereignty, our capacity to, like I said, be in co-creation, our capacity to make our own decisions. And I've been talking about this over the last few weeks here on this channel about the conscious creator. Like, we are asked to become a conscious creator. We are asked to grow out of those ideas about hierarchy and externalizing power, giving our power away. And it was just 21:12 on the clock when I said that. Which is for me a symbol of, and I have very personal reasons for that, but it's, for me, it's a symbol of, like I said, become like this initiatory process of becoming my own person, my own sovereign, and become so deeply rooted in my own truth, in my own ability to create and to choose what I want. And there's this huge tendency in spiritual circles to give that power away, to give it away to some kind of guru, to mediums, to tarot readers, to our spirit guides, to God, to whatever you want to call it. All of that are forms of giving our power away. And if we want to change this world, and this is coming out so strongly, because we are at a point in time where we really, really, really have to make a decision if we want to make a change in this world, or if we want to just like be bystanders and watch the world develop into something that we really have to ask ourselves, do we want that? Do we want that as humanity? And I'm not talking about some spiritual, excuse my language, shit about this is like just let unfold everything that's happening, and it's all happening for a reason. And while there is some truth in that, at the same time, we are spiritual bypassing the shit out of that stuff, because it's an easy way out. It's an easy way out to just say, well, the world outside there, it's just a matrix. It's just some kind of what it's called, simulation. And I just have to float above all of that. And then I'm fine. No, you're not. You're not. This is not why we're here. We are here to be humans. And we are here to live a life that is meaningful. And that, I hope so. And I feel like when you are here and you're resonating with me and my channel and this stuff I'm talking about, you feel the same way. You feel like you want to make a change in this world, and you see that stuff is like not moving in a good direction. It's not. And we can talk so much about that in the spiritual community, and about like, oh, the split is happening and we are moving into the light. And yeah, maybe at some point down the road, but you know, it's not happening just because we want it to. We have to do something. We have to do something about it. And the thing that we have to do is become the conscious creator, and to choose to accept the role and to make the change in this world. But like I said, we have to make it. It's not going to happen just by sitting at home and wishing for it to happen, and watch another tarot reader that's telling you, or another channel that's channeling some starseed stuff and telling you, yeah, it's gonna happen. And I said in the other video, I don't want to tell people that there is no hope in that it's gonna happen. I do believe that it's gonna happen. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm recording videos. That's why I'm jumping over my own shadow, and it's not easy to do that stuff. It's not. And I know that many people will not like what I'm saying, but I'm doing it anyway because I do believe that I can make a change. And change is never comfortable and easy. And in order to bring this about, we need more than just the light, fluffy stuff. It's nice, and we need it for sometimes to just feel good and to remember that there is something like hope, but we also have to dig deep. And I haven't shown you the cards yet, but this is what they're saying. It's one, you who show the way. It's you who show the way. Nobody else. It's you. You make the decision. And the other one is the impossible made possible. Because to be honest, right now, when I'm looking out that window and I see what's going on in the world, most of the time I feel like, how the fuck are we going to manage to change that? But the impossible can be made possible. It can be made, but only if we get our own shit together. And I'm sorry that I'm swearing so much, but this is this is the dark goddess energy. And like I said, it's not about we are done sugarcoating things. We are done with doing the pink fluffy rainbow stuff. And yeah, there is a time and place for that, but sometimes there's, and actually most of the time there is a time for looking into what's uncomfortable and owning your own power is so uncomfortable because suddenly you are responsible for your life, for your decisions, for your actions or non-actions. It's not like you can just say, oh, the Matrix, it's just the Matrix. It doesn't have anything to do with me. Oh, it's those, what are they called, the non-person players or something like that? I always forget those terms. They're just all soulless automats, machines. And I don't have nothing to do with that. I'm floating above all of that. This is giving responsibility away. And no, I'm not saying that you have to change other people. I'm just saying that you should take responsibility for your own life, for your own path, for how can I make a change? Where am I spiritual bypassing? Where am I not accepting my magic, my inner magic, my power? Where I'm giving all of that away? Where am I playing small? Where do I do not see what strength I have in me because it frightens me? And we are all scared. It frightens us all. And this is why we need this sisterhood. We need this brother and sisterhood. We need to come together, to stay together, to support each other. And this is not happening by pushing others away or like separating myself from the rest of the world by telling myself that I know better, or I'm so spiritual, I'm so above everything, I'm not part of this game that we call reality. Yes, you are. You are part of this game that we call reality, because it is a reality and you are living it. And telling yourself that you're not living it, but that you are just dreaming and that you are just have to be in this elevated state of mind all the time is not living life. This is bypassing life. True spirituality is experienced, is lived in this life, in this reality. And you are here to make something of it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here and listen to my video, watch my video. You wouldn't be here. So stop playing small. Stop telling yourself that it's not your responsibility, that you know better. Because, to be honest, the longer I am on this path, the deeper I look, the more I uncover, the more I realize I know nothing. I know that I know nothing. And that is the only thing that keeps me afloat. Because the more you advance on this spiritual path, the more your ego will tell you that you know everything and that you are, like I said, so advanced and so above everything and everybody else. And if you just keep this little piece of knowledge in your head that you actually know nothing, that is what keeps your ego in check, and only that. That was some serious dark goddess's rage. We need it. We absolutely need it. All right, I have another card lying here, and I'm wondering what they want to tell me with that. Okay, now I'll get it. So ignore the... I'm covering it up. Yeah, it's just another angle on the creation energy. Okay, so what I talked about, this thing about feeling better than, floating above, is a narcissistic tendency that each and every one of us has. We all have it. We all do it from time to time. It's a self-protective measurement. This idea about I know something that others don't. I'm special in some way. I'm the chosen one. Those are all traps that keep you in a separation mindset, in a separate consciousness. And just so you know it, you cannot create to your full capacity while you are in separation consciousness. And we've been working on union consciousness big time over the last few weeks. And yeah, it's the ego really that comes in and prevents us from coming into our full capacity of what's possible in terms of creation. And like I said, the more advanced we become in our spirituality, in our path, in like the more we open up to even greater capacities in ourselves, the trickier the ego stuff gets. And that's the reason why there are so many gurus out there, so many spiritual leaders that are highly narcissistic, that have such an inflated ego. And you might be wondering, how is that possible? Because like there's so much light, but at the same time there is like so much darkness, and that is because they haven't integrated their darkness. And so it's showing in an uncontrolled, in a subconscious way. And this is a big part of narcissism, actually, that it's a highly fragmented personality. And there's this super inflated ego, and there are those parts that are deeply, deeply hated and pushed down into the darkness. And this causes this big fraction inside. And that is pure separation. There's nothing of oneness and unity in there. So this is hard stuff. To work with that's hard stuff. But you can call on help. You can call on the dark goddesses, and they eat that shit for breakfast. Things that I thought I could not let go of, that I could not give away, that I could never release, or that I could never embrace as part of me. Like I said, coming into my power. Not giving a shit about what people think. They helped me with all of that. They helped me with my rage. They helped me with my grief and my losses, and they were always there for me, and with so much compassion, fierce compassion. And it's a kind of compassion that is different to like the light side of spirituality. And I don't mean to bash all the light stuff, because yes, of course it's important, and there is, like I said, a time and place for it, but there's also a time and place for the darkness, and we really, really need to look there. Because it's like where the uncomfortable stuff is, there's the real growth. And we are living in a highly narcissistic society. It's a little bit scary, to be honest. And in order to heal that, to make the impossible possible, to bring about the change that we are all dreaming of, we have to look where it's dark. We have to look where it's uncomfortable. And no, it's not a one and done process. This is happening over and over and over again. And I myself, I know I'm in for a huge ego death again. And I don't fancy it. Am I running away? Yeah, probably a little bit. I'm procrastinating. But I can feel them lurking in the dark, and I know that I will be in for some good shadow work today or the next few days, probably. So we are in this together. We are in this together, in the sister and brotherhood. And it becomes less scary when we do it together. and we know that we are not alone. And there's like, when we come into this inner union and this wholeness, we can create what we're dreaming about. But we cannot create what we're dreaming about when we are so afraid of our own power and our own magic and what's actually really possible inside of us. When we're so afraid of our own power, we cannot bring about the change that we are, at least that we're saying that we want. If we really want the change, it's time to look into ourselves and into the darkness and to see what's there that scares us, because this is where our true power lies. So, on that note, I think we're done. Yeah, we are. I just saw a mic drop. Yeah, mic drop. That was intense. All right. I hope I haven't scared you away with that dark goddess energy. And here again, don't apologize. No, I don't. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. To be honest, I love it. I really do. But it's not... Okay, this is bringing me into a completely different rabbit hole. I don't want to go down there. Okay, now I say it. Yeah, sometimes I do worry that I become too much when I'm in this energy. But at the same time, I do know that this is where like the real power lies. And those are the things we're passionate about. And sometimes I'm afraid that I'm going to say things that hurt other people when I get passionate. Like I've been swearing a lot. But this is who I am when I get into that energy. And I do like it because it makes me feel powerful. And yeah, it sometimes feels like it's too much, or it's taking up too much space, or some people might find this appalling. Won't like it. But then I say, okay, then this is not your channel, and then I'm not the person for you, because this is part of who I am. And this is what I've found in my own journey to be incredibly powerful, and has really like catapulted me forward in a way that nothing else has. Nothing else. So I hope you do find the same medicine in working with the dark goddesses, because the darkness is there anyways. And I know it's scary to look there. Like I said, I'm procrastinating myself. But the beautiful thing is that if you start working with those deities or those energies or whatever you want to call them, if you feel uncomfortable calling them deities, you can call them something else, call them what you want. For me, it's the dark goddesses, but you can find your own ways of working with them. It's a name for energy in the end. And the beautiful thing about working with them in those darker realms, that they have the capacity to hold you. They have the capacity to be there and to love you no matter what, even when you are not able to love you, and if you find disgusting what you find out down there, or really, really scary, or you're so ashamed about what's waiting there. they are there with you and they love you through it. And that's the beautiful thing. And that's the power in working with them. So I would love to hear from you. If you're still here and I haven't scared you away. And yeah, I wish you the best of luck with that energy and this work, what you're doing. And I would love to see what this looks like, what this means when you come into this full expression that is there and that is very, very beautiful. I have no doubt about that. Yeah, I love you all and wish you all the best with that, and see you in the next video. Bye.